Fundamental one, the goal of analytics is to collect raw data and organise it into something actionable and something that is important, that has importance and meaning to us as people. So whenever you're looking into your analytics, keep reminding yourself, I'm looking for something that is actionable, because you can get a bit like I do sometimes, white line fever, and you're so poring over the stats. Oh, it's interesting, somebody visited me from Malaysia or something like that. If you've got plenty of time on your hands, well, that's great. But think of your analytics as something, what can I learn that I can actually change something and actually make a difference to improve that particular metric or that stat or my KPIs. Second, fundamental two, first select an appropriate period. Okay, this may seem bleeding obvious, but you'd be surprised how perhaps even some of the professionals sometimes lose sight of the obvious. We're very habitually this month, last month orientated in our work, whether it's to do with accounts or even marketing. Sometimes we have to look a little bit more strategically. For example, if your business is very seasonal, right, comparing this month and last month, and you're selling something like Christmas hampers, right, and you're comparing what, January with December, or say maybe December with November, are you going to have the same meaningful insights if you compare the equivalent last year's period for the Christmas period? So just be mindful of that. You can select any date range you like. And it's pretty simple. With a compare metric there, you can customize it, you can select a previous year, any number of years. Okay, next slide.
Sorry, I'll just jump in there, Charles. I think yesterday, I think, perfect example, a client that had a massive 3 months selling their products, but they were a bit worried about October, really slow for them. So they just were about halfway in October, and they ring me on the phone and go, you know, what's going on? We're real slow this month. And I said, well, what about we look at October last year? We pulled up the analytics over the phone. Sure enough, the traffic was lower this time of year, and the sales were just as slow in October. So although the client this year's had a massive 3 months previous, he's thinking it's going to keep going. If we look at the last year's trend, we found that, you know, October was quite slow. So it sort of gives you a bit of perspective on the data.
Sure. Yeah, can be a rookie mistake. Okay. Next. If you want to know a little bit more about seasonality, a good tool to use is Google Trends.